Let's take a look at a summary of Lesson 5. There are 3 columns here showing nouns. The left column shows singular count nouns, plural count, and non-count nouns. The words we can use for singular count is the, an, and no. The apple, the train, the girl, etc. An apple, no apple. For plural count, we can also use the, again, the apples, just like the apple. Some apples, no apples. So you can use the word no for both singular count noun and plural count noun. No apple, no apples. Any apples, with questions and negatives. Are there any apples in the basket? There aren't any apples in the basket. Okay. A lot of apples, many apples, a few apples, 2 apples, several apples. How many apples? Now let's talk about non-count nouns. We can use the with both singular, with all of these, the with singular, plural, and non-count. The sugar. Remember, non-count are nouns that we do not put numbers in front of. So the sugar, some sugar, no sugar, any sugar, a lot of sugar, much sugar, a little sugar, 2 teaspoons of sugar. Now, also, for the question, how much sugar? Notice that we have a number here, but we do not say 2 sugar, right? We have made this a counting noun by putting teaspoons in front of it, because teaspoons is a counting word, a counting noun. 2 teaspoons of sugar. Let's look at sentences with there being, T-H-E-R-E being the place there. Or condition, right? There's 1 onion in the recipe. Or there is 1 onion in the recipe. And these are for count nouns. There are 2 carrots in the recipe. This one you cannot make into a contraction, right? Just there are. For the question, is there a potato in the recipe? Remember, for the questions, we just reverse the words. The statement would be, there is a potato in the recipe. The question would be, is there a potato in the recipe? No, there is not. No, there isn't. Are there any nuts in the recipe? Yes, reverse, there are. How many nuts are there in the recipe? Okay, let's look at non-count nouns. There is some celery in the soup. There isn't any garlic in the soup. Question, reverse, right? There is becomes, is there any rice in the soup? No, there is not. There isn't. How much salt is there? Again, is there. It's a question, right? How much salt is there in the soup? Let's take a look at a few, very few, few, a little, very little, and little. These are with counting nouns, and these are with non-counting nouns. Some. Okay. A few people brought a pie to dinner. A few means some. Some people, right? How about not enough? It's too bad that very few Navajos. Very few usually means not enough. It's too bad that very few Navajos speak their language today. Let's look at non-count. Do you want a little sugar in your tea? So sugar is a non-count noun, so we're going to use a little. The Navajo code talkers got very little recognition during World War II. What's the difference between the use of a little here and little there? The difference is that this is not a problem. It's a simple question. Do you want a little sugar in your tea? Simple question. But this one indicates a bit of a problem. The Navajo code talkers got very little recognition during World War II. It's a problem. It's not good. They should have received more recognition for what they did. And so very little here means probably not enough. Let's move on to the last part. A lot of, too much, and too many. Okay, our first column shows neutral, count and non-count. Problematic, there's a problem with count, and problematic with non-count. Let's look at neutral. Neutral means, in this case, not a problem and not a problem. So it's not a problem, but it could be that it is a problem. So it's sort of neutral. I cooked a lot of potatoes. So that's not a problem. It's not good or bad. It's just a statement of fact. I cooked a lot of potatoes. I put a lot of butter on the potatoes. So notice here that potatoes is a counting noun, and we use a lot, and butter is a non-counting noun, and again we use a lot. We include the word of there, a lot of butter on the potatoes. Let's look at situations that are problematic. In other words, we use these terms. In this case, we use too many to show a problem. You put too many raisins in the stuffing. It's too sweet. That's a problem, too sweet. So too many means a problem. For non-count, problematic, you put too much. Too much is used for non-count. Too many is used for counting. You put too much salt, non-count, in the soup. I can't eat it. So it indicates a problem. Problematic. Okay, that ends chapter 5. Now, next week, Tuesday, when we have our Zoom meeting, I'm going to spend the time going over the test review that's found on page 147. So please take a chance to complete that test review on your own. It's not an assignment. You don't have to turn it in. I won't see it from you, but I would highly encourage you to do page 147 by yourself and see how well you do, because on Tuesday I'll show you the answers and take any questions, okay? And then the test will be on Thursday for chapter 5. All right? So again, take a look at our summary, do the test review on the next page, and I will look forward to going over that with you next Tuesday. Take care.